Welcome to Monday's devotions. We're in Genesis chapter 42, and we're going to read the first four verses and then reading the last part of the chapter. So, beginning at verse 1. When Jacob learned that there was grain for sale in Egypt, he said to his sons, "Why do you look at one another?" And he said, "Behold, I've heard that there's grain for sale in Egypt. Go down and buy grain for us there, that we may live and not die." So 10 of Joseph's brothers went down to buy grain in Egypt. But Jacob did not send Benjamin, Joseph's brother, with his brothers, for he feared that harm might happen to him. And then going to verse 29, this is them returning back. When they came to Jacob, their father, in the land of Canaan, they told him all that had happened to them, saying, "The man, the Lord of the land, spoke roughly to us, and took us to be spies of the land. But we said to him, We are honest men. We have never been spies. We are 12 brothers, sons of our father. One is no more, and the youngest is this day with her father in the land of Canaan." Then the man, the Lord of the land, said to us, "By this I shall know that you are honest men. Leave one of your brothers with me, and take grain for the famine of your households, and go your way. Bring your youngest brother to me. Then I shall know that you are not spies, but honest men. And I'll deliver your brother to you, and you shall trade in the land." As they emptied their sacks, behold, every man's bundle of money was in the sack. And when they and their father saw their bundles of money, they were afraid. And Jacob the father said to him, "You have bereaved me of my children. Joseph is no more, and Simeon is no more. And now you would take Benjamin. All this has come against me." Then Reuben said to his father, "Kill my two sons if I do not bring him back to you. Put him in my hands, and I will bring him back to you." But he said, "My son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is the only one left. If harm should happen to him on the journey that you are to make, you will bring down my grey hairs with sorrow to Sheol." Amen. Many years have passed since Joseph went to Egypt, and at this stage he's now risen to being Pharaoh's prime minister over the land, over the distribution of food in the time of famine. There is now a famine that is severe, it is great, and it's beginning to bite not just in Egypt but back in Canaan as well, where Jacob is living with his family. And during this tough time, Jacob basically calls for his sons to act. He says there sarcastically, end of verse 1, "Why do you look at one another? Stop just looking at it. You need to do something to solve this problem." In difficult days, just feeling sorry for yourself is no option when there's something that can be done about it. Far too often we are complaining when we need to act. And we need to be aware of that. We need to be careful that we're not frozen with fear because of a situation when we should be acting, we should be doing something to deal with the problem. After the brothers do go to Egypt and return without Simeon, who has been held hostage by Joseph, Joseph, remember, he recognized who the brothers were, and basically he says, "You have to go and bring back your youngest to prove you're not spies." He's testing them. The brothers report all this to Jacob, their father. And Jacob is very adamant that he will never allow Benjamin to go to Egypt and have Simeon released. He basically is ruling Simeon out as being dead basically now. Reuben seeks to intervene as he had done previously with trying to rescue Joseph. Reuben acts as a wise eldest son. He says basically if he goes down and doesn't bring Simeon back, he'll sacrifice indeed his own two sons. But Jacob will not be persuaded. And in the midst of all this, when they had opened their sacks and their money which they had taken to pay for the food, it had been returned to them. And they're terrified by this. Probably they're thinking, "Oh, a mistake was made. The Egyptians will think we've stolen from them. How can we ever go back down there?" There's a fear coming on. And in all what is happening here, and Joseph was a part of this, these brothers are being tested. This is the family of God. This is the family that the people of Israel are going to come. These are the patriarchs. These are the men who would be responsible for the tribes that would come from them. These are men who would have such influence. And we've seen with what they've done with Joseph there, they're far from being what they should be. And in these days of trials, God is seeking to knock the rough edges. He's trying to shape them, remold them. He's trying to test them to see where their priorities are, so their priorities will be right once more. But sadly, Jacob, their father, he's been held back. He's acting favourites again. He's lost Joseph, and there's no way he wants to lose Benjamin, who was the other son that came indeed from his beloved wife Rachel. Favoritism is getting in the way, and he's putting the one above the others. His personal feelings, rather than the greater good of his family, are now dominating his thinking. We need to be careful. We need to take decisions, not just what is most pleasant to us, not just what is most comfortable to us. We are to take decisions. What is for the good of ourselves, for our people? What is for the glory of God? Those are the things that motivate us, not just what is easiest for us. Just staying back in Canaan, basically burying your head in the sand, it's too easy. Jacob needs to act and allow his sons to act to rescue their family. Amen.